This simple habit will make you fluent in English, and it is honestly the most effective way to transform your speaking skills without spending a single cent on expensive classes or boring textbooks.
We are going to show you how small daily actions create massive results in your casual conversations, so you can finally stop overthinking every single word you say to your friends.
I am so excited to dive into this because people always ask us for the secret sauce to fluency, and they are usually surprised by how easy this actually is.
It really is about consistency over intensity. And if you enjoy these tips, please remember to subscribe and like the video because it helps our community grow so much.
Exactly. And today we are talking about the power of narrating your life in English, which is a habit that requires 0 partners and 0 extra time in your day.
Narrating your life sounds a bit strange at first, but it is basically just talking to yourself about what you are doing while you are doing it in your house.
I used to do this when I was learning my second language, and I would just describe making coffee or putting on my shoes while I was getting ready.
It helps because you are connecting the English words directly to the physical actions instead of translating from your native language in your head, which is a huge hurdle.
Most learners get stuck because they try to find the perfect word. But when you narrate your life, you realize which common objects you actually do not know names for.
Like when you are in the kitchen and you realize you do not know the word for a spatula or a cutting board, even though you use them every day.
That is the perfect moment to look it up, and because you are using it right then, the word sticks in your brain much better than a random list.
I think people feel a bit silly talking to themselves, but since this is for casual English, it is the safest place to make mistakes without any social pressure.
No one is listening, so you can repeat the same sentence 10 times until it feels smooth and natural in your mouth, which builds that essential muscle memory.
And muscle memory is exactly what leads to fluency, because you stop thinking about grammar rules and start focusing on the flow of the actual conversation you want.
Let us try a quick drill right now, where I describe a simple task like cleaning the living room, and you can see how natural the language can be. That is a great idea because seeing it in action makes it much easier for our listeners to start doing it themselves as soon as this video ends today in their own homes.
I am picking up the pillows from the floor and putting them back on the couch because the room looks a bit messy after the movie night we had. See how he used simple present continuous verbs there? Which is exactly how we describe things happening in the moment in a very casual and realistic way for everyone.
Now I am walking to the kitchen to grab a cloth so I can wipe down the coffee table because there are some sticky rings from the soda cans. This habit forces you to use prepositions and phrasal verbs naturally, like picking up or wiping down, which are so common in everyday English, but hard to master.
If you do this for just 5 minutes a day while you are doing chores, you will notice a massive difference in your comfort level within just a week. It is like a workout for your brain, and the best part is that it prepares you for real talks with neighbors or coworkers without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Exactly. and it helps you find your own voice in English because you are talking about your own life and your own specific routines and personal interests. I love that point because fluency is not about sounding like a robot. It is about being yourself in another language and sharing your unique perspective with others.
Moving deeper into this strategy, we should talk about how to handle the moments when you get stuck, because you will definitely hit a wall where you do not know a word. Instead of stopping the whole exercise, just describe the object using words you already know, which is a high-level skill called circumlocution for learners.
That is such a vital tip because in real-life conversations, you cannot always pause to look at a dictionary on your phone while someone is waiting for an answer. By practicing this at home alone, you are training your brain to be flexible and creative with the vocabulary you already have, which builds incredible confidence.
Another layer to this habit is narrating your thoughts and feelings rather than just your physical actions, which takes your English to a much more personal and expressive level. You might say to yourself that you are feeling a bit tired today because you stayed up too late reading a book, or that you are excited.
I totally agree. And it also helps with emotional regulation because expressing your feelings in a second language can sometimes give you a bit of healthy distance from them. You start to realize that you can explain complex ideas like why you are stressed at work or why you enjoyed a specific movie using simple structures.
Let us talk about the common errors people make when they start this habit, because I want everyone to avoid the trap of trying to be too perfect right away. Many learners stop every 5 seconds to check their grammar in a book, but that actually ruins the benefit of the exercise, which is supposed to be flow.
That is so true, because the goal here is fluency, which is the ability to speak smoothly and easily without constant pauses or hesitations that make you feel nervous. If you allow yourself to make mistakes while you are alone, you will be much less afraid of making them when you are talking to a real person.
I also want to suggest recording yourself on your phone once in a while you are doing this narration habit, so you can listen back to your own voice. It can be a bit cringy at first to hear yourself speak, but it is the best way to notice your own patterns and see where you improve.
Recording yourself is a game changer because it turns an abstract feeling of improvement into actual evidence that you can hear with your own ears as the weeks go by. You will start to hear your rhythm getting better and your sentences becoming more complex without you even realizing that you are working on those things.
We should also mention that this habit can be done anywhere, not just at home. Although talking out loud in public might get you some strange looks from people, you can narrate your life silently in your head while you are sitting on the bus or waiting in line at the grocery store to keep your brain active.
That mental practice is just as powerful as speaking out loud because it builds the same neural connections and helps you stay immersed in the language even in a non-English environment. I often find myself doing this when I am traveling, and it makes a huge difference in how quickly I can respond to people.
Let us do another interactive challenge for the listeners, where we describe a more complex situation, like explaining a problem with a product you bought at a store. Imagine you bought a toaster and it doesn't work properly, So you have to explain the issue to a clerk using very casual and polite English phrases.
And then you could explain that when you plugged it in and tried to make some toast this morning, the lever would not stay down, no matter how hard you pushed. Notice how we use words like lever and plugged it in, which are specific to the object, but the overall structure is very simple.
This habit also helps you master the art of small talk, which is something that many English learners find incredibly stressful because it feels so unpredictable and fast-paced. If you practice narrating your day, you are essentially practicing the answers to common questions, like what have you been up to lately, or how was your weekend?
Small talk is really just a collection of shared experiences. And by narrating your life, you are becoming more aware of the interesting little details that you can share. Instead of just saying my weekend was fine, you might say, I actually spent all Saturday morning working in my garden and trying to grow tomatoes.
I want to emphasize that you do not need to spend hours doing this every day, because even just 2 or 3 minutes of focused narration can be effective. The key is to make it a consistent part of your routine, like brushing your teeth, so that it becomes an automatic habit over time for you.
It really is about those small wins and noticing when you use a new word correctly, or when a sentence comes out of your mouth without any hesitation at all. Those moments of success are what keep you going when the learning process feels difficult, or when you feel like you are not making enough progress as quickly as you wanted.
We should also talk about how to use this habit to improve your listening comprehension, because speaking and listening are two sides of the same coin in any language. When you narrate your life, you are also hearing the language being spoken in your own voice, which helps you recognize those same patterns when other people use them.
Imitation is such a powerful tool, and it is how we all learned our first language as children, by listening to our parents and trying to copy their sounds. As adults, we sometimes forget how to play with language, and we get too focused on rules and logic instead of just enjoying the sounds and the feelings.
I also recommend using this habit to practice asking questions, because we often spend so much time practicing how to answer things that we forget how to lead a conversation. You can ask yourself questions throughout the day like, where did I put my keys? Or what should I make for dinner tonight? And then answer them yourself.